The public convention has been, since the Enlightenment, has been the third personal.
Related issues around ideas of levels of being, which is, I think you're right. All of you have said this, and this is, central to the phenomenology of intelligibility, but it seems to be, contradicted.
Before the scientific revolution, before the Protestant Reformation.
By something that, starts with Scotus and goes through Occam and goes into the heart of the scientific revolution.
Before the scientific revolution, before the Protestant Reformation.
Reality just is.
Before the scientific revolution, before the Protestant Reformation.
Reality just is. Existence isn't a predicate. Existence isn't a predicate.
Part of the reason phenomenology got going, the attempt to try to reintegrate the subject back into philosophy, the attempt to try to reintegrate the subject back into philosophy. Again, that's pretty esoteric.
Part of what I see my task of being is to try and take the very best of science and answer all of those challenges in a way that restores confidence in the hierarchies of intelligibility and the phenomenology of connectedness.
These things are manifestation of a much deeper thing. I'm not going to play this here. I intended this to be short because I have a 12:30 lunch appointment, and so this is going to force me to keep this short. It's already longer than I thought it was going to be, because what I really wanted to talk about was what I wrote on the Substack, which I am actually just sort of winding up, just reiterating, which is the reason that I can never write anything, because I'm perpetually rewriting what I intend to do as I go and then never getting to a final draft. Anyway. So the scientific view sticks with the third personal. The third personal is inadequate. And that's really at the basis for the postmodern crisis. Postmodernism is also presented an opportunity for some breaking down and recognition of the limitations and the overreach of modernity. What does this mean? Okay. What does this mean? Okay. What is meaning? What is meaning? There's something out there in the world, the third personal. You immediately have to translate it down into the first personal. That's the meaning move. There's something out there in the world, the third personal. She immediately has to translate it down into the first personal. That's the meaning move. Or the objective subject. Objective subjective.
Are objective and subjective useful terms for talking about reality? I use the words, I tend to use those words a little subversively because I obviously don't agree. I tend to, for example, want to show that the subjective is objective in the way that people think about it kind of in a vulgar way.
Again, this is Peugeot. It's the first person.
The reality just is, existence isn't a predicate.
Is taking that third person knowledge and asking, how do I take third person knowledge here and use it to act how many of us really process and assume our life to be? It's a personal narrative progress moving forward in time. The scientific image is the one privileged for the public world. Third person is public, first person is private. And again, this is a function of priority. The first person perspective. The world lays itself out. He's invoking the first person perspective. Of John Vervaeke's 4 Ps of knowing, the propositional is third person, but the participatory and procedural and perspectival are more first personal. Meaning making is the transjective frame switching between the third personal and the first personal. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Third personal applied to the first personal leading to the first personal knowing and acting. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That's really where meaning happens. And this maps, a monarchical vision and then, again, the personal back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That's how we live. So do not worry about me being hard on myself. My wife will tell you, I have an ego the size of Texas. I doesn't, every now and then I'll think, I'm just not smart enough to manage this stuff.